Okay, let's load system slash EX2CALC and hit run. This is example 2 calculator. Most of these commands should look familiar to you from example 1, so I'm just going to skip down to line 17 where you see at loop. When you see like the at symbol and anything, this is called a label. You can name a label pretty much whatever you want. And why do you need these labels? You'll see. You'll see the go-to command followed by your at label. This takes the program back to the labeled position and runs the code from there, so you can run code, over and over again. Next, on line 20, you'll see a new command called input. Now, what input is used, this is used to store a number or even text into a variable by typing it into the keyboard. Just like as if you were using print, you can enclose some text in a parenthesis and it'll print it on the screen before it takes the input. After that, you see a semicolon and N01. N01 is the variable in which what you're typing is being stored. That's number 1. Okay, so what if somebody tries to type in the word poop instead of a variable? Variables can only store text if it has a $sign at the end of it. So the variables would have to be N01 $sign for someone to even be able to enter poop. We call this type of variable a string variable. A string meaning a string of characters or even a single character. Now we're going to ask the user what they want to do with those two numbers stored in N01 and N02. The signs for multiplication, division, addition, etc., etc., those are string characters. So we need to store our input in a string variable. In this case, $K on line 36. Okay, we are now going to read this variable and tell our program what to do in the instance of each answer choice. We do this by making a variable called mark, setting it to 0, and assigning a number to change mark based on what mathematical operation the user chose. Under mark, you'll see an if-then-else statement. What this says is if our variable $K equals the plus sign, then please set the variable mark to 1. Otherwise, just read the next line of code. The condition after the if works just like it did whenever in the while loop that we encountered in the first example, except this time instead of testing the condition over and over, we just ask it once and just move on. What are we going to do with mark now that it's set and it's ready to use? On line 45, we use it with on number, go to one of these 6 options. Why are there 6 options when there are only 5 marks? Well, what if somebody enters poop? We want to display a message that says, hey, don't do that. So if mark is 0, then it goes to the first label option, at skip. Then if mark is 1, it goes to the second label, at plus, where it will go to line 54, add the numbers, and print the result on the screen. After it is done, line 56 says, take us back to at loop, so we can ask for some new characters. So you should be able to see how the at labels and go-to functions work, as well as the input numbers and strings. And I won't hold it against you if you didn't completely understand how mark works. I'll make plenty of other examples for that. But play around with the input, print, and math functions. You should be able to make like a quiz game or a text adventure or something like that. Just experiment instead of just burning through these videos as fast as you can. Hopefully these videos have been helpful, and I'll hear from you in the spring.